Still going. That's my season. I'm still going through that right now.
Well, this is the funny thing, like life process. Once again, if you don't, the one thing I've realized, okay, I'm gonna go, off a little path, but identity is definitely a father piece. And if you don't know who you are on earth, it's really hard to, like from your earthly father, it's really hard to connect with God the Father and know your identity. So there is a process of pressing in and saying, okay, God, I don't have identity in this life. Or I don't feel, if I don't know my purpose, I don't know these things. It is sitting before him.
Or I didn't have a dad who told me I was beautiful. Or I didn't have a dad who told me how to change.
But the cool thing about that is you can get that need filled. You can find your identity in the Lord if you take the time and you ask those hard questions. But it is a process, I think, for all of us. Like, we're still learning. I mean, everything's a process. But you have to embrace it. It's a process.
I think God's been really bringing to mind for me. It started about a year ago where I'd look in the mirror and he'd be like, think about what you're thinking about when you look in the mirror. Like, for me, I'd always look in the mirror and be like, I want to be taller. I want to look like Lauren. I want to look like Becca. You know, I'm not as pretty as those girls in Hollywood. I'm not as valuable as those people. Like, it was always going through my head. Always. It was plaguing my thoughts. And about a year ago, he was like, Alyssa, we've got to go after this because it was making me very insecure. And like, I always wanted to change who I was or how I looked or how I acted. So this year for, I think, all three of us has really been, we went, a year ago in October, we went after identity full force in our personal lives and just went, we've got to know who we are. And we've got to stop trying to make this life about being a popularity contest. You know, like, we've got to just know who we are.
Or even about having things, or like, because I put the shirt on, I feel better about myself. Yeah. It sounds funny, but we all do it. Because I'm driving my car, I feel better about myself. It sounds funny. We all, you know, we all have our things that we're like, I'm going to dress myself up with these things and feel better. Well, if you can't strip those things away and stand before God and be like, I know who I am, go after it.
And I think the coolest thing is, like, it's not like going to God and being like, okay, here's the right answer, I know I should be feeling that. Like, I would literally go to God, like, I still do this, and I'm like, okay, like, I started this one, I was like, okay, God, I feel ugly. Did you make me ugly? And I just sat there until he gave me an answer. Like, I wouldn't flip over scripture, I'm like, I need to know, did you make me ugly? Answer me. And, like, it was really good, and he does, he's so kind.
He's so cute, he does that.
He's just adorable, like, the way, like, he wants to answer those questions, like, ask him, did you make me a reject? Because that's what everybody tells me. Like, God, am I ugly? Am I, am I a loser? Like, think of the words that go through your head and ask him if that's how he made you. And part of me was like, felt like he was like, yeah, I spent a little bit more time with your sisters. I didn't have as much time for you. Oops. Like, literally, I thought that's what he was
I
gonna
love
say.
that y'all think that's funny, but we all do that.
I did until like 6 months ago. And so, like, ask him those questions. Like, don't be scared to ask him the hard questions.
Because then you're going to have these tools in your life. And when somebody comes against you and says, you know, you're stupid or you're this, you're going to be like, whatever.
No, he didn't make
God told me I was amazing. So I'm going to live walking in that.
Like,
and it is that confidence.
Just go word by word that you hear. That's what I'm doing. And that's been my whole year. I go literally phrase by phrase. Some phrases take a few months to get through. Some phrases take a day. Like, it just depends on how deep they are. But just go one by one. Just ask him.
I think you nailed it when you said all three of you are pretty real and pretty authentic.